There is something very endearing about Grounded. It is innocent, kids out to survive in the garden, shrunk to the size of an ant, and they need to science the shit out of this. Hey everyone, this is Thyworm, and today I will give my first impressions on Grounded, a game I'm enjoying a lot actually. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Grounded is a mix between a cartoony survival game and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the 1989 Walt Disney movie in which a scientist builds a machine that can shrink creatures and he accidentally shrinks his and his neighbor's kids. The rest of the movie plays out in the backyard of the scientist, where the kids are haunted by bugs, a scorpion, and even get unexpected help from an ant, which eventually results in a very tragic ant scene, probably the most tragic ant scene in movie history. It's a great family movie, however, and I can vividly remember many of the scenes, as I was very young and was deeply impacted by the sheer creativity of that film. Grounded, a game by Obsidian, is basically just Honey, I Shrunk the Kids without the official license, if there is even an official license for that. It is, however, once again very impressive what this studio pulled off. At the start of the game, you're dropped into the garden, already shrunk, and you need to survive. Food, drink, shelter, sleep, protection, weapons, and tools. They all need to be crafted. It is then up to you to discover what that weird machine in the backyard is doing, how you're going to get back to normal, and all of this preferably without getting eaten by spiders. You can play the game solo, which I did, or up to 4-player co-op. I'm sure co-op is actually amazing in a game like this, but I had a lot of fun just playing by myself. There are currently no ways to join public games, as the game is still in early access. You can invite friends, but that is under the assumption you have friends. The game features some graphical options and supports up to 32:9 aspect ratio in 1440p, which is the resolution of a screen I recently purchased. Games that support this and still look good have a special place in my heart now, so thanks Obsidian, I really appreciate the effort. The game offers a few game modes too. You have the regular game mode, which comes in several difficulties, which have an effect on the rate in which you get hungry and thirsty, and then there is creative mode, where you can let your creative juices flow without any existential threats. Grounded is currently in game preview mode, which is the Xbox equivalent of Steam Early Access, and it's available if you have the Xbox Game Pass, or if you spend the $30 on Steam, but if you do that, just buy Game Pass instead for a couple of months, because you should have that Game Pass honestly, as the value you get out of that is absolutely bonkers. I've said this before, but Xbox Game Pass is by far the best deal in gaming history. Nothing even comes close, and it has an impressive library of games these days, with Grounded being one of them. Another interesting fact is that this game was developed by Obsidian Entertainment, the studio behind several masterpieces such as Fallout, New Vegas, and Pillars of Eternity. They also made The Outer Worlds, which was pretty good, and a few other titles, and now they're trying their hand at a survival game. While the concept is a blatant rip-off, which is completely fine of course, you can definitely see that Obsidian originality in various facets of the game. Take a look at the different crafting options and how several insect and bug parts are incorporated in armor, housing, furniture, and weaponry. You can see the ant legs on the chair, which are just the sort of details that make me really appreciate a game. Look at the first set of armor I crafted for myself. Sure, it's a bunch of leaves folded together, but I had to cut the clover myself, collect the pebbles, craft an axe, cut some plant fiber, and then create a workbench station to create all of this. I think you get the idea. This is a pretty hardcore survival game wrapped in a lot of adorable moments. You literally need to craft everything, and you can basically use anything you see in your direct surroundings. All the creatures buzzing around, the grass, clovers, weed, bugs, spiders, you name it. There is really no limit. And it's fun too, as the one thing survival games have going for them basically by default is a clear sense of progression. I really haven't gotten all that far, and I'm running around in very basic armor and weaponry after exploring the garden for a few hours, but I'm already significantly stronger than before, and I've got a good idea how to sustain food and water these days. I crafted a small cooking station and roasted a few bugs. Water is hanging from the grass as morning dew, and you can launch your spear at the water drops to make them drop, and here it is, your fresh water source. The fact that you can do all of this and much more actually gives this game a very polished feeling. You think of a way to make something happen and it usually exists. All game elements are very logical in that sense. Crafting is supported by a small analyzer, a machine that can dissect materials for you and tell you what you can do with them. This way, even if you don't think about some of the things yourself, you're still capable of crafting as long as you gather enough materials. I found overall the number of components needed to craft was very well balanced, as the one thing I really hate in survival games is unrealistic gathering requirements, but in Grounded that is all taken care of. A part I really haven't discovered too much is housing. You can cut grass into planks, which makes perfect sense given the scale of everything, and then you can construct a house with a door, a roof and furniture. I'm sure we're going to see half Metropolis rise from the garden of some of the players out there. The options are basically endless, and as early access progresses, more options will become available for crafting. When looking at the graphics, I'm sure you've figured out by now that the game is beyond stunning. I never knew a back garden can be so pretty. Colors are vibrant, god rays are plentiful, the bokeh effect is astonishing and really well done without feeling weird like in some games. The detail on the ground, the grass, the monsters, it is all basically just perfect and shows how powerful Unreal Engine 4 is these days. Walking around, just exploring, doing some crafting and taking in the atmosphere of this game is simply a beautiful thing to experience. All of this is accompanied by a game menu with retro synthwave music, a bit of a throwback to the era of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. The synth sounds mix perfectly with the setting. As you're exploring in-game, smooth and soothing piano tunes play along softly while you're hearing some amazing ambient sounds. The wind, the grass and all the various bug sounds are extremely well done, and it feels a bit like you're walking in a zoo without anyone else around. During combat, the music dies down to a bit more of a tribal tune with drums and several different beats. In the couple of hours that I played, I haven't really found any negatives or bugs. Well, plenty of bugs like ants, but no game bugs, you know. It is super polished, it's fun to play, the progression is an integral part of the game, and I can see Obsidian expanding Grounded with stuff you can craft, more locations, more bugs and a finished story, which is also what they stated in their early access notes on Steam. The game is set to release somewhere in 2021 and I will be sure to follow the game and bring some updates to you as things progress. It is just one of those titles that shows what happens when capable developers show their love for games, and everything about this game feels good. There is no doubt in my mind this is going to be a success down the line, and if you want to jump on for the tiny ride, it is already very playable and free if you own Xbox Game Pass. I hope you enjoyed the video, ladies and gents. Thanks so much for watching and making it to the end. See you soon. Bye bye.